So when Smith Wesson announced the M&P competitor, all my dudes at the matches were like, yeah. And then they announced it's got an aluminum frame, and all the guys were like, what? The original competitor was an aluminum frame gun, and honestly, the polymer M&P was a nicer shooting gun. Now, Smith Wesson has released the HD series of their metal framed guns that are actually steel framed, and this is the gun people wanted all along, and it's made several notable improvements. I shot it next to other steel frame striker guns and a 2011, so of course I'm going to tell you about that. But it's still got some quirks to it, and I'll let you know about those too, but the review starts now. First things first, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do a ton of these videos on different types of pistols, so if you want more pistol content, please subscribe. So this is the Metal HD with the manual safeties because that was the version I could find in stock first, and so I ordered it, and I ended up paying about $1,100, and that was about the best price I could find. And when it shows up, it comes in a ridiculously large carrying case. Like seriously, screw the closet you keep all of your gun boxes in because this thing is friggin' massive. And that's because it comes with 4 17-round magazines and 3 sets of back straps. Once you figure out where to store the pistol, let's talk about what the pistol actually is. They did a ton of stuff right about this, which are notable improvements from the old gun. First things first, when you pick it up, it feels like a proper steel frame gun with balance that you would like. The problem with polymer striker fired guns is they're very top heavy. This feels very, very balanced. Like if I take my hand off the gun just sits like that. It's just weighted very nicely front to back, so it makes it shoot really, really well. The weight is checking in at about 37 ounces, which isn't super heavy, but if you look at all the slide cuts it did, which look gorgeous, by the way, they relieved a lot of weight at the front of the slide. It could probably be more heavy than that if they hadn't done this huge weight relief package, but it looks cool and it shows off the spiral fluted barrel that is in the front of the gun. For the iron shooters who still think red dots are a fad, it's got a high-vis front sight and a blacked out rear that do not co-witness with the Optic. And the Optic plates themselves, it comes with a bunch of different Optic plates to accommodate basically all of the Optic footprints, and it even comes with screws. We'll come back to all that. There will be negatives in this video. The frame has gotten improvements as well. It has a very nice extended magazine release, which is good. It's got the inlaid plastic kind of grip zone at the front of the grip. Now on the old competitor and all of the metal Smith guns that I've tried, this little inlaid grip zone at the front of the grip there has a little bit of wiggle and play. This one has 0. It is in there perfectly. It does not move around at all, which is good. That was a common modification people would do to their metal framed guns, as they would kind of epoxy that thing in place so it didn't move around. They've added some enhanced texture in front of the palm swell, which is appreciated, but everything else about the frame, if you like M&P frames, is going to feel very familiar, and that's a good thing because M&Ps have excellent frames. So shooting the gun, I've had it out 3 times now, filming only 1 of those times. First time I had it out, I was getting the dot zeroed, and I was impressed with the accuracy I was getting offhand.
Getting it zeroed at 25 yards, that's offhand. That's pretty good. The flyer was definitely me. But that's with Buffalo Creek 115 range ammo.
Put plainly, the gun shoots really, really well. However, the trigger is still, you know, kind of mediocre. If you're used to a Smith out-of-the-box trigger, you know what that's like. It's just not very inspiring. It's got a long take-up, and then you get on a wall, and then it's kind of a, you know, soft wall as it sort of releases a little bit of creep. It's not bad, but if you're an M&P bro, you know what to do to them.
Back at 25 yards, trying to find some ammo that the gun likes, see what happens. The zero's pretty good. It's not perfect, so if it's deflected from the point of aim, you'll know why. All right, that was a 147 round nose that I loaded. This is a 147 flat nose that I've loaded, which felt great, by the way. Oh, that's even better. 115 SMB. And finishing with the Buffalo Creek. What it looks like is I've been patterning buckshot. So this is my 147, which should have a higher point of aim, and does. It's kind of high and right. But my 147 round nose load didn't play particularly well. My 147 flat nose aimed right there, it kind of grouped a little bit right there, but you can see it's kind of exploring the space of the target. Not great. The 115 SMB plays the best with this, so the barrel needs kind of a faster velocity, it's kind of looking like. And the Buffalo Creek honestly did pretty good too. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then that one was me too. So the 115 seems to do much better than the 147, which is a shame because the 147 felt amazing. But that 115, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, the 115 SMB appears to work with this barrel the best.
It seems to favor the faster, lighter projectiles to get the smallest groups. You'd have to play around with, like, every barrel is going to be different. You'd have to play around with different projectiles and powders and stuff like that. But 147 in tight group is kind of a known quantity, and the fact it wasn't grouping in this pistol was a little bit disappointing.
Recoil testing with the M&P HD. We've got a bunch of guns that would show up in a typical pistol match, and we're just going to see how it shoots compared to those just with basic 115 ammo from Buffalo Creek. This gun shoots really nicely. The trigger is very lackluster when you just kind of experience the trigger. It's got some weird over travel stop. Not sure how it works, but it's got one. But when you're shooting fast, you don't really notice it. So I like how the gun recoils straight up and down, very easy to stabilize. Don't have a tremendous amount of time. At the point I'm filming this, I've only got, like, I don't know, 200, 300 rounds on it. They're going to be shooting it a bunch more today to film for it, but gun shoots well. 2011. Honestly, it feels pretty similar to how a 2011 shoots, the M&P does. I'll see what the slow-mo shows, but honestly, not bad. Canik Rival S. It feels remarkably similar to the other two guns. Who would have known? Steel frame, weighs roughly the same, feels similar. Walter PDP-S F. The PDP has a little bit more jump to it than the other guns did. I'd probably benefit from some better grips on it, but it just jumped around a lot more. Still pleasant shooting, it just behaved different from the other guns, if that makes sense.
If you review the slow motion footage, it matches up against the other guns pretty favorably, with it being roughly similar to the Canik Rival S, and I would say more tame than the Walter PDP SF. The 2011, I felt like the recoil impulse was a little bit superior to the striker guns, and that was observable specifically through the wrists. Like, the just all metal gun just throws a lot more energy into your arm, so it's a little more fatiguing. For whatever reason, the 2011 just feels more tame. But I'm also a fluent 2011 shooter and don't have, you know, considerable reps on this gun or the other guns shot. But I can say wholeheartedly with the other steel striker guns, I think I prefer this one. I think this gun is the better shooting of the steel frame strikers currently on the market. And here come the negatives. So the Smith bros are going to immediately be like, you're a hater, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I haven't had good luck when I review Smith products in the past. There's always been something kind of wrong with it. The negatives on this one are much better than some of the other guns we've had with, you know, messed up magazines or guns that lock back after every shot. The issues on this gun were significantly more minor than those, but, you know, the most irritating of which being the high-vis front sight just, you know, jumped out of the gun. The whole point of a high-vis front sight is that pipe is supposed to be captured. You can see right there that there is no fiber pipe in the front sight on mine, so I just have a very strange looking blacked out iron for the front. I don't particularly care because I'm a dot shooter and it doesn't really co-witness. Next is with the Optic mounting system. I don't so much have a problem with the polymer plates that they give you, but I do have a problem with the screws that they give you, because they give you hex head screws, which if this were 2015 and we were just learning how to install optics on pistols would be forgivable. But in 2026, we understand that Torx screws are the absolute way to be doing this. The problem with hex head screws is if you have to remove the optic for any reason and the screw seizes up at all, you can strip those screws really easily. Torx screws offer better bite, so you don't strip as many screws. So I didn't use any of the screws that they provided and just used the screws that came with the Optic, and I'd recommend you do the same thing. Next, and this isn't unique to Smith, but it's got this little lawyer peephole at the top of the barrel, which if you use a cantilevered optic like this Cyelee Chameleon, it's going to throw significantly more soot onto the window. Now, if you watch slow motion footage, you'll know that the smoke comes out of the chamber when the gun cycles regardless, and it's always going to be worse on cantilever optics. However, there was a concentration of soot right above that little 12 o'clock hole in the barrel. So I guess it's really important for the lawyers to be able to see that there's a round in the chamber through that hole. This is an issue with the competitor gun as well, but the base pads that they give you on the gun are stupid. It is a bumper pad effectively. It's not a extended capacity magazine. I hate to say that word, but Most guns that are competition oriented will give you a 140 millimeter magazine because that's the proper length for a lot of the competitions going on. This is just a regular 17 round magazine with a hollowed out base pad, so you can clear the mag well and seat the mag in the gun. So what that means is guys who intend to use this for USPSA are still going to be on the hook for their own base pads for these mags. The not stabilizing 147s over tight group, which is a typical competition load, was a little bit irritating, but it's not the end of the world. You can find ammo the gun likes. It did great with the S&B. Now, all of that sounds pretty salty, but I really do like this gun. I think it's probably the best shooting of the steel frame guns in the segment. It's kind of positioned in the middle from a price point perspective, with the Walter PDP-SF being higher and the Canik Rival S being lower. Canik Rival S is selling for a ridiculously low price at the moment, but is the gun, a few $100s better than what the Rival S is going for? It's about $800. I mean, no, they shoot very comparably. However, I will say that I like the recoil impulse from this gun better, but the price tag is kind of somewhere in the middle. More than anything, I think the gun has it where it counts. If you find some ammo that groups well with the gun, it tames 115s really well. In fact, and it's super accurate with them. I love to see that Smith clearly learned from their other metal frame releases and did this one better. Like, this is the best metal frame gun that I've tried. I'm not counting the revolvers, guys, but this is the best metal framed pistol that I've tried from Smith, and I've tried, I think, 4 different ones of theirs at this point. You may notice that I didn't compare it to the competitor in this video, and that's because I don't have the competitor anymore. Yeah, tells you what you need to know about the competitor. This gun, however, I like quite a bit. I can see it coming out of the safe quite a bit to compare to other guns in the market. I think it does set a new standard for striker-fired guns that want to be kind of competition oriented. The bones of the gun are incredible. It's just a really nice gun. So hats off to Smith. If you want to see the review of the competitor I did a few years ago, that video is here.